Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. First day, first show. Chief Minister Umar Abdullah said in response to Wahid Parra of the PDP, an MLA from Pulwama, who uh, gave a resolution asking about the restoration of the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, on August 5, 2019, Jammu and Kashmir was split into two union territories, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir and Article 370 and Article 35A were read down. It is the first day of the assembly session that's taking place after 6 years. Remember, Jammu and Kashmir was under governor's rule, and at the moment, there's a lieutenant governor also heading the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. Well, on the one hand, we got an elected assembly that met today, and there you see on the screen there's ruckus in the assembly with members raising up and shouting those slogans. To discuss this, we're joined by Ifra Jan, who's a spokesperson of the National Conference. Welcome to the show, Ifra. The point is that Wahid Parra obviously gave that resolution, but it's obvious that PDP has been saying, and so has been the National Conference, that Jammu and Kashmir right now, it's the most important issue is the restoration of the statehood and the special status. That is what they've spoken in the election campaign also. So, what is wrong if he gets up and puts out that resolution?
Absolutely nothing is wrong with somebody introducing a resolution, Zafar Saab. But here I am sitting on your show right now, right? If I bring in this petition and say, "Ye hai meri petition, ye hai meri petition, ye lo petition," is this me taking a petition to the Supreme Court? No. That is me speaking out very loud with a paper in my hand. If I said, ye mera resolution, le lo isko, is this me actually passing a resolution? No. This is me speaking out very loudly with a paper in my hand. Today was a session where members get to introduce themselves because you elect the speaker and the members introduce themselves. The session where you actually start introducing resolutions and private member bills, that is not even started yet. So that procedure is yet to start. So he did not pass any resolution to that matter. He simply stood up with a paper in his hand and said, "Ye mera resolution, ye mera resolution,"
Yeah.
which I just did 2 seconds back. The
Right.
problem here, Zafar Saab, is that let's not forget it was the same Wahid Parra Saab's political
Yeah.
party, Mehbooba
Yeah.
Ji, who in
Yeah.
2014 joined hands with the BJP and ensured that we are a union territory right now. Interestingly, it was the same way. In fact, today, Mir Muhammad Fayaz Saab, the Kupwara MLA, who backed this paper waving of Wahid Parra, it was the same person who refused to vote on Article 370 when he was a Rajya Sabha member in the parliament. Do you know the PDP members did not vote against the bill? Do you know, in fact, even on triple talaq, the PDP members did not vote against it? The PDP members did not vote against it. So all I'm saying is that it is a stunt for the cameras.
Right. And that is what Chief Minister Umar Abdullah also said. And Jammu and Kashmir National Conference has tweeted. It said that it was too clever by half attempt by a PDP MLA, clearly aimed at circumventing government move to introduce resolution. We expect
Absolutely.
everyone to support the resolution rather than playing to the gallery and weakening the collective resolve of those who sincerely want reclaiming of our constitutional rights, protection of dignity and identity.
Absolutely.
The point is that how is the government going to go about this issue? It's an important issue that cannot be kept on the back burner for a long time.
Absolutely. Let's not forget, Zafar Saab, today was just the first day of the assembly. Today, you just introduce the speaker, you introduce the members, introduce themselves, and you choose a speaker. We have repeatedly said what happened. In fact, Umar Abdullah Saab also very loudly and clearly said what happened on August 5, 2019 is absolutely unacceptable to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The constitutional guarantees need to be gotten back. We need to safeguard our land, we need to safeguard our jobs, we need to safeguard our identity, and that only happens, the first step for that is going to be restoration of statehood. And interestingly, I don't know if you were paying close attention to the LG's address. The LG in his address said, "We are committed to bringing. He's committed to bringing back the statehood for Jammu and Kashmir, but also the constitutional guarantees." He added constitutional guarantees beyond full statehood. That
Yeah,
is where the catch lies. The
yeah.
last time we had the BJP speaking, the BJP was saying, "What constitutional guarantees does Jammu and Kashmir need? हमें आपको क्या चाहिए? Aren't you an equal part of India?" Today, it's the LG Government National Conference, the mandate that we have gotten, the way how we have forcefully articulated this issue. Today, we had the LG of Jammu and Kashmir say that the constitutional guarantees will be given back to Jammu and Kashmir. I mean, that is the catch of this entire speech, and it was not put in unnecessarily. So now that we actually do have a system of going back from what happened on 2019, we have the first step towards getting probably full statehood. We're taking steps to get constitutional guarantees, protection of our land, protection of our jobs. We actually have BJP's old friends, old partners, both Sajad Lone and Wahid Parra, doing everything to ensure that it doesn't happen. And when the national conference brings a resolution that will be should be supported by everybody, they create so much ruckus to ensure that no actual concrete procedure is put in place so that those guarantees can be gotten back.
So you think that this is some sort of a plan to scuttle the normal process of bringing about a resolution by the government, and at that time they will have to obviously support it. So this ruckus is just being created to create a situation that that thing gets delayed or it gets stopped altogether.
Absolutely. There are many reasons why this ruckus is created. Number one, no resolution. As I keep repeatedly saying, no resolution was passed, because you couldn't have passed a resolution. Just like me doing this does not mean that no petition has gone to the Supreme Court of India. So no resolution was passed, but this was created, number one, to be in the headlines. Today politics is less about actually doing something and more about infotainment. It's being in the headlines. I want to be in the headlines. Number two, it's to ensure that when an actual concrete process is initiated by national conference, that loses its credibility somehow, and people are like, नहीं हम तो इसको support ही नहीं करेंगे, हमने खुद ही कर दिया. They think people of Jammu and Kashmir are sheep. But it's a very interesting thing. I would probably not take a lot of your time. I would give you a small example. This is not a new thing, Zafar Saab. If you look at historically, Mufti Muhammad Sayyid Saab started his career in Sadiq Saab's government. Now, Sadiq Saab was the same person who converted the prime minister's position to the chief minister's position. He was the same person who ensured that around 118 amendments were made to Article 370. This, and in fact, even Gani Lone Saab, Sajad Lone Saab's father, started his career in his cabinet. The same ministers then went to Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Saab and said, "You're the person who's betrayed everybody because you did not fight hard enough to restore what we gave away to New Delhi on a platter." So this is
Right.
a history is repeating itself. What they are going to tell us, that you guys are not fighting hard enough. Fighting hard enough for what? Fighting hard enough for what the PDP, PC, BJP government took away from the people of Jammu and Kashmir. It's like me setting fire to your house and then saying, तू गद्दार है क्योंकि तूने अच्छे से इसमें पानी नहीं डाला और घर में तू कुछ बचा नहीं पाया. Who set the fire to this house? We need to ask the question, इस बस्ती में आग किसने लगाई? हम आग बुझाने में कामयाब होंगे कैसे होंगे? इस आग को कैसे बुझाएंगे? ये तीली किसने जलाई? That is a conversation that should never get out of the public mind, and that's something the national conference will ensure.
And I was hearing Umar Abdullah when he stood up in the assembly and he spoke. He made an interesting observation. He said that people of Jammu and Kashmir have not accepted the
Absolutely.
moves of August 5, 2019. Although he said this resolution that's been brought about by Wahid Parra is just for cameras and it has no meaning. If we can play up that
Correct.
soundbite first.
तो जो रेजोल्यूशन आज लाया गया है उसकी कोई मतलब अहमियत नहीं है। वो मां सिवाय बदकिस्मती से कैमरास को दिखाने के अलावा उसका और कोई मकसद नहीं है। अगर मकसद होता तो शायद ये लोग हमारे से मशवरा करके तय करते कि हाउस की तरफ से क्या बात आनी चाहिए। अब छोड़िए, छोड़िए। स्पीकर साहब, आने वाले
So the ruckus in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly on the first day. Obviously, Chief Minister Umar Abdullah saying that though that move on August 5, 2019 was not accepted by the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and that is why the composition of Jammu and Kashmir Assembly is as it is
As
today.
it is.
But Ifra, you would also appreciate that people have been, most of the votes that were secured by national conference was about the restoration of the special status. So there are lots of expectations. Leave aside the opposition, leave aside the resolution, but people want some concrete steps. And obviously it can come up as a private member bill, that's all right, but people want that this issue must be taken head on. I think there is no any sort of a dispute over that.
There is no dispute over that, Zafar Saab. There is a dispute that is being artificially created. National Conference has repeatedly said that what happened on August 5, 2019 was unacceptable. National Conference was not a part of that happening. Remember, it was Sajad Ghani Lone Saab and Wahid Parra Saab's government, BJP government, they were both alliance partners that did what they did. We were not a part of that. We will not be a part of that. And when it comes to the concrete steps, when you're saying what are the, if you were to ask what are the concrete steps we should be taking, I think to get the LG to actually speak about the constitutional guarantees of Jammu and Kashmir, something he has never done in last 5 years or 6 years. I mean, no LG has ever done in last 6 years. The fact that we now have the BJP acknowledging that Jammu and Kashmir needs constitutional guarantees back, apart from restoration of full statehood. Please remember, Zafar Sahab, we should not forget that protection of our land, which is the most crucial thing, at least for me and for so many of us right now. Protection of our land, protection of our identity, our domicile laws. Zafar Saab, let's not forget we have the weakest domicile laws in entire country. They're basically as good as nothing. To ensure that our domicile laws are strengthened, all of this is connected to what the LG more or less agreed to today. And this did not just come because this came because of the kind of mandate National Conference has. This came because of the kind of stand the people of Jammu and Kashmir took. Because at the end of the day, Zafar Saab, जब इतने लाखों लोग खड़े हुए, लाखों लोगों ने एक वोट के जरिए एक ही बात की, they got the BJP on its knees. And now when the process has started to ensure that we get back इलेक्टोरल मैंडेट से हमने जो लिया अब उसको वापस लेने की बारी आई है. You have BJP's alliance partners, old alliance partners, who are more or less going to probably ensure that we stay a UT forever.
Right. The point is that, when you say that perhaps the opposition leaders should have, when the chief minister says they would have got in touch with the government and then perhaps found a way to bring about a common, but it applies on the other side also. Why isn't the government reaching out to the other parties, other people on the other side of the camp and bringing about a consensus as far as this issue is concerned?
Let's see who are the people on the other side of the camp. एक तो आपके पास बीजेपी है और बीजेपी के पुराने दो अलायंस पार्टनर्स हैं. You have the PDP, the same PDP that ensured that we are a UT. You have Sajad Lone Saab, who very clearly and categorically was a part of BJP's front that Ram Madhav ji had announced in 2018. So I am not really sure who are we to, who somebody who ensured that, whenever National Conference spoke decisively about 370, I don't know if you remember, after he came out of the PDP Prime Minister's meeting, he said, "Don't talk about 370. It's a gone case. Purana baat hai. Chodo." Who do we talk to? But people who pretend that this is a cause close to their hand, people who are getting votes by pretending to pass a resolution, like there is no resolution, by pretending to bring in a resolution because they think people of Jammu and Kashmir are sheep. How do you have a conversation with these people? If there was a semblance of if there was a semblance of sincerity in their hearts, we would have actually found a way to do it together. As they say, Iksi Raizir Lamav. And it's a Kashmiri saying which says, when we all hang on to the same rope and we all pull together, something happens. And Alhamdulillah, it's the people of Jammu and Kashmir who did that. We had the PDP that in India Alliance, India Alliance, when the India Alliance announced its candidates, PDP actually announced parallel candidates against the India Alliance in Lok Sabha elections. We had Sujad Loon Sahab ensure and do and say everything to ensure India Alliance candidates were defeated. But the people of Jammu and Kashmir ensured that their united stand gave people of Jammu and Kashmir what it did today. The LG saying full statehood ke liye hum kaam karenge. The Lieutenant Governor saying constitutional guarantees hum wapas layenge. I think Wahid Parra, Mir Fayaz Saab, the person who refused to vote in the parliament on when Article 370 abrogation bill was passed or when Triple Talaq bill was passed, and the people who, for that matter, have been a part of Sadiq Saab's government, who started their career with Sadiq Saab's government. It's the people of Jammu and Kashmir who have unitedly defeated all these forces. And now that when we are at the cusp of getting the full statehood back, getting our constitutional guarantees back, passing an actual resolution, not just pretending to pass a resolution, it is inshallah the people of Jammu and Kashmir who will understand and stand by us again.
Right. Well, we'll have to we'll see what happens over the next few days. But here I wanted to understand that basically what you're saying is that statehood and constitutional guarantees. Article 370, of course, it's for the Parliament of India to decide on that. They only can take a call on that. So what you're essentially saying is that constitutional guarantees, like other states, like the neighboring state of Himachal and other states have, as far as land is concerned, as far as other things are concerned, those could probably be also introduced in Jammu and Kashmir. The struggle is also about that in order
Yes.
to secure the rights and of the people here.
Absolutely. In fact, we had the LG himself say that he is committed to bringing back not just full statehood, but the constitutional guarantees. So he could have just said full statehood. The LG himself said constitutional guarantees bhi hongi. So here is the catch. And I think today, for the first time, we need to say, okay, you need to understand we are not starting from a position we have Article 370 and we say we need to go step up. At this point, we are a union territory. At this point, we are, should I say, a bloody UT. We have nothing at this point. We are starting right at zero. So if we have the LG speak about the constitutional guarantees, we had, and this doesn't come from the BJP, Zafar Saab. We have to understand this came from the mandate that the people of Jammu and Kashmir gave National Conference. This came from the message that the people of Jammu and Kashmir gave to the BJP government. Today we have them talk not just about full statehood but also of constitutional guarantees. So I think this is something that everybody in his right mind should push for, because at the end of the day, our identity, our land, our jobs, they need to be protected. At this point, we are without any guarantee whatsoever.
Right. In fact, we would had called PDP's representative also on this show, but for some reason he couldn't join. Maybe the line was bad or he was out and he couldn't join the show. It would have been great to get his response also to all of this. But if the point is that when you say that, who do you talk to? It does not matter. You may have to even talk to the opposition BJP, because their stand is also clear on this, that they want restoration of statehood. There is not a single party in Jammu and Kashmir which says that Jammu Kashmir is good as a union territory. So what's the problem? You can reach out even to the opposition and then perhaps bring about a resolution that will have more weight behind it.
You see, this is now, for instance, firstly, you're saying that even the BJP government says that we are not good as a UT, except we were converted into a UT by the BJP government and the PDP government and the PC government. So, honestly, what they say and do in front of the cameras is irrelevant, because I will not get tired of telling you कि ये जो घर हम बचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, इस घर को आग जिन्होंने लगाई है, their words are irrelevant, their acting in front of the camera is irrelevant, it is a stunt for the cameras. But yes, as you're saying that the opposition must be reached out to, we will be passing a resolution soon about what happened on August 5, 2019 regarding the constitutional guarantees. And this will be a concrete resolution, because it's going to be something that almost everybody will agree. And it's not just going to be it's not going to be us waving a paper on camera. It's actually going to be a resolution as it shall be tabled. And one thing this was something I was thinking about today. When National Conference passed an actual resolution, again, not a camera resolution, an actual resolution for autonomy restoration in around 1999, 2000, I forget the exact date.
Right.
When we,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
when
I know
we
it
passed,
was in the tenure of Dr. Saab when
yes,
that resolution was passed. Yeah.
when we passed the autonomy resolution, actual resolution, recently, Miss Iltija Mufti ji, she was speaking on she was speaking on the Aaj Tak conclave. On the Aaj Tak conclave, India Today conclave, she says, and I quote her, she says, जो नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस ने रेजोल्यूशन पास किया वो तो दिल्ली ने डस्टबिन में डाल दिया. Okay, so the idea was that this resolution that the national conference has passed, it was pointless because the New Delhi did not agree to it. Right. Suddenly now, so when we pass an actual resolution, it is irrelevant because New Delhi did not pay much attention into it. But when you wave a paper in front of the camera, suddenly that becomes important, and suddenly you become the protectors of people of Jammu and Kashmir. How is it that one resolution is irrelevant and the other waving of camera suddenly becomes other waving of a paper on camera suddenly becomes so relevant? I think we also need to ask these questions.
Right. As I keep on saying that it would have been great to get a PDP voice here, but Ifra, when you say that the PDP and the People's Conference were also a party when Jammu Kashmir was downgraded into a union territory, how were they a party at that time? Jammu Kashmir was run by a governor. There was no assembly in place.
Interesting thing. How are they a party? They are a party by ensuring that the BJP government for the first time got to become a part of the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly. And
Right.
only when they became a part of the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly were they able to pull their support back and dissolve the assembly. Today, the BJP cannot dissolve the assembly. Why can they not dissolve the assembly? Because they're not a part of the government. But if for instance National Conference has joined hands with the BJP, and were it the case that we were together at this point, then the BJP could have any time pulled back their support, dissolved us, and they can go ahead and do what they did in 2019. It was the PDP government that gave them a strong, powerful, meaningful foothold in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly in 2014, which eventually allowed them and paved the way for them to do what they did. And any government that does that again, and so I don't see how you can take it away from the PDP government. To say that they probably weren't aware, they had no idea that this would happen. I mean, they are the ones who keep saying that Mufti Muhammad Sayyid was a visionary who knew everything. He was way too, whatever you say about him, Zafar Saab, you may hate him for being a part of Sadiq Saab's government, for ensuring that 370 was completely watered down. You may hate him from saying that 1984 government, for dissolving 1984 government. You may hate him for bringing Jagmohan into Jammu and Kashmir in 1989 as a home minister. Whatever you say about Mufti Muhammad Saeed, to say that he could not foresee in 2014 BJP did, I do not agree with it. I think he was too seasoned a politician to not see what was coming.
Right. We'll have to leave it here. Ifra, obviously, we would have loved to have a PDP voice also, and we tried to get in touch with the PDP leader, but unfortunately, he couldn't join us. But we'll have to leave it here. Ifra, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks to all of our viewers for watching the Mojo story.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Zafar. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.